Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
BBN Jack first. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We have a lot to talk about. Okay, so first thing I'm going to say is this. Last night we had a conversation, I believe, and it was actually, just so we could be clear, explaining about tariffs and things as such, because in our economy more than anything else, or kind of a little bit into that area. But the reason why that is important today, because we're going to be talking about D.O.G.E. Once again, we're going to be talking about our economy and how our economy is affected. So just so we can just keep that in the back of our mind, we have to understand that there is allegedly money laundering going on, and the money laundering that is happening is actually the reason why this inflation is being caused. So when we're looking at a lot of these individuals that's mad because these agencies are being audited, we have to say, why are you upset that these agencies are being audited? You are the same people that say that, you need to increase the penalties to the audits that you do to the American people every year. So why would you be upset that now a government agency, which has to have oversight, because how can you have any government agency that nobody is looking at what they're doing, which has to have oversight? How could you now be angry that it has oversight? Now, with that being said, I want you to pay attention who's actually on the oversight committee. Jasmine Crockett. So today, before we get into our normal, these guys is on some BS and it's being finally exposed. We're going to talk about the money that D.O.G.E. has found that has been wasted, and should Americans be upset at the waste. I think that this is very important communications that we must have with one another, because it seems like there are a lot of Americans who have no issue and no problem with the government waste. So let's have a conversation about it so we can talk about how, because this government waste exists, all of the problems that now actually are happening in our communities. I'm going to tell you the wildest thing about not just these elections, whatever, yakety smackety, but the wildest thing about the positions that a lot of people are taking politically when we're talking about the controversies that are happening, whether it be around Trump or whether it be around a different candidate or a different politician. And many of these positions that individuals seem to take have nothing at all to do with the state of what America is currently in. I'm going to give you maybe one of the best examples that I could think of in recent history, and that is before Trump got elected, everybody on the left was basically saying, what a majority of the left, the majority of the left was saying basically that there was nothing wrong with our prices at the grocery. Does anybody else remember this, or am I the only one? They were saying the grocery prices, there's nothing wrong with them. You guys, these is imaginations. Now that Trump is in office, the first thing they're saying is, why isn't the grocery prices going down? I do also want to remind you of something that they also said when Trump was president, which I found extremely humorous, knowing that they just said that Trump had to change everything that was wrong in less than a week. Less than a month. He was only president for like 3 weeks at this point that this conversation came up. And that is when President Trump became president in his first go around, when he was the 45th president, one of the things that they kept saying was every time something good actually happened for the American people, that it was Obama's doing, because it takes a while for everything to work through the government, through the bureaucracy, which is generally true, just so we can be clear. But now, when we're talking about the tables, they've been completely turned 180. But now, when we have the current president, Trump, very same similar situation. Now what people are doing is saying, well, why didn't he fix it? He should have fixed that like a week before he even got into the office. He fixed other things literally a week before he got into the office. But this is something that actually takes bureaucracy. Now, how is Trump going to bring the cost of things down? This is very simple. First, these are two ways I could think of right now. First, this is something you have to understand. In order to feed, house, and everything else that you have to do with a farm or anywhere that they're creating the actual goods at, the industrial part of the process, there is going to be energy that needs to be used, power that needs to be used, fuel that needs to be used. You know, all of the things that became more expensive under the Biden administration? So one of the ways that you could actually bring down the cost of our groceries that's actually in the supermarkets is by making it less expensive for these products, the industrial part of the aspect of its production, to be cheaper, because the cheaper they can produce the goods, the cheaper they can then now sell the goods at whatever wholesale rate or whatever they're doing. They're going to be able to sell the goods, and at the cheaper they'll be able to sell the goods and the goods can get to market, then the cheaper the goods will be for the actual consumer. The issue and the reason in which why it went up the way it did is one of the things our government was trying to do was to get everybody to use EV transportation, right? Everybody forgets about this. They think we got to get rid of these gas guzzlers. Everybody forgets about this. So by doing this, a couple of things is something that they did. They made some new regulations and some new rules, basically, when it comes to the production of vehicles in America and whatnot, and what kind of monies they're going to put forth and what kind of tax incentives they're going to put forth to different corporations that producing these vehicles in America. And also for the ones that's importing these vehicles into America, but more importantly, the people that are creating the vehicles in America. So what did this do? Wait, before we get to what this did. So, in addition to that, something else that they did was make it more difficult for the people who were still, or more expensive for the people who are still creating gas guzzlers, cars that were conventional cars that used gasoline in order to be fueled, just so we could be clear. And so you can know why this is absolutely insane. Check this out. Was it buses? Here we go. Just so we can understand why this is insane. All right, I'm looking at the wrong jump off. Hold on. Got you. Just so we can understand why this is insane. Biden administration announces nearly $1.7 billion help but better cleaner buses on a roll in communities across the country. So they spent $1.7 billion. We got that? Biden administration awarded nearly $1.1 billion for green school buses. Rebates at 350 schools. Do you want to know how many school buses they actually produced? right? I hope I can find it, because this is absolutely insane. Biden EV bus maker nears bankruptcy. How? Y'all done spent $1 billion on buses, leaving school districts and tens of million taxpayer dollars in limbo. So wait, hold on. So wait, what happened? The Biden administration awarded Canadian electric bus company Lion Electric. So just so we can be clear, I just want to be clear on this. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. Not only did they go get EV electric buses, right? And you do know that American motors vehicles is an extremely large business. Every country that makes cars, the car manufacturing business is one of their largest businesses. This is just so I don't think people understand the number of people they employ, or how much money it actually brings to a lot of areas where they're the only large employer. Like, I don't think people really understand what manufacturing means in any regard. So not only did they go and do something that was hurting the backbone of the American economy, the car manufacturers, but they didn't even go to an American car manufacturer. Nevertheless, I don't even believe a manufacturer that manufactures in America. So even if it was a company that was outside of America, my interests also lie in, is this at least a company that the manufacturing of these vehicles would be in America, so that $1.7 billion doesn't go somewhere else entirely. With that being said, the Biden administration awarded Canadian electric bus company Lion Electric nearly $160 million to manufacture hundreds of battery-powered buses for school districts nationwide as part of its sweeping climate agenda. I hate this climate agenda thing. I've been hearing that, California was going to wash off into the sea. Why do all of the richest people have freaking seaside freaking land? Why is having homes on the beach such a thing? If they really feel, and the main people saying that the world is gonna be a problem, there's all the climate change and stuff is like that. The main guys saying these things, why do they all have beachfront property? I need somebody to explain this to me. Why do they all have homes in Hawaii? I need somebody to explain this to me. Why am I hearing that there's new islands being discovered, like in reality the ground isn't a part of me? The water isn't actually rising everywhere in the world. Like, these are just natural occurrences that just happen to be happening at this time in the history of the earth being the earth. With that being said, in recent weeks, Lion has initiated bankruptcy proceedings, laid off all employees tasked with building its buses, and paused manufacturing operations. Now, I don't know if anybody wants me to explain why I particularly find this is levels of interesting. Now, remember, I'm just hearing about this right now. I don't know the entire makeup of what's going on with this particular article. I don't know what they're told. I've just learned about this Canadian bus company. But isn't it odd? February 7th. In recent weeks, isn't it odd that there's a offshore company company that's not in America that was given billions of dollars to produce a thing that I'm going to assume, as we read further in this article, they did not produce. And then as soon as the government agencies of America start being audited, this company that got $160 million, pardon me, not billions, $160 million, all of a sudden initiates bankruptcy and laid off all of their employees that were tasked with building the buses and paused manufacturing operations. Just something to keep in the back of your mind. Every time you hear we have to make people pay their fair share, where your fair share is going. You know, regular citizens apparently already paying up the fair share, right? But where's your fair share going? How is this acceptable? And this is the type of thing that I say when I keep hearing people say, well, this negative thing about Trump, that negative thing about Trump. I'm saying, okay, whatever. But could we discuss the actual policies, politics, the actual things that's happening? Or is the only thing we could discuss is how this man makes you feel? Because guess what? There's people who don't like you. Should we all decide that the people that don't like you are correct? There's people that don't like you for lies. There's people that came up to you, started trash with you, created the whole entire situation, then played victim. Are we now supposed to be on their side? Lion's financial demise leaves dozens of school districts, including those in California, Montana, North Dakota, Iowa, Alabama, and Maryland, questioning whether they received the buses that Biden administration promised them. Lion is yet to deliver $95 million worth of electric buses to 55 school districts across the country. They're never going to get those buses. You want to know why they're never going to get those buses? Because in order to produce them freaking EV buses, it's so expensive and arduous that they weren't even able to, out of all of the money that they put towards it, they weren't able to get any buses created. I'm looking for where they're saying how many buses there were. It's a very small number. And when I mean very small, I mean less than double digits. You understand? For 1.7 billion. So this is the type of thing D.O.G.E is fighting against. And then you're going to have some weirdo somewhere protesting, saying, oh, he doesn't care about the world because of climate change. Well, ever since I've been alive, they've been saying that the world is going to be destroyed in 10 years. I've been alive for quite a few 10 years. How about that? I need an explanation. Tell me what went wrong or what went right. Because, just so we can be clear, the people who are parading this idea out there into the world, that this climate change is a big deal, they're always on planes. While they're telling you to get in a damn car that's powered by electricity. They're flying all over the world. Just so we can be clear. I'm going to tell you the wildest thing about American politics. The rest of the world has to be looking at us like, what the hell is wrong with these guys? I'm going to tell you the wildest thing about American politics. well, a wild thing. It's about to happen. It's been going on. I've been complaining about it forever. I complain about a lot of shit, but I've been complaining about it forever. So it's been going on. This is not nothing that's old. This is something that's been happening. And this is the wild thing about American politics. We have such a large percentage of people that live in America that even when given the information that the person that they voted for is not doing the right thing, they don't care. Like, they don't care. And it's just wild. And I'll talk to someone that I know that might be, their native country is a different country, and we'll be talking and we'll discuss their politics also. And then they'll come to a politician that did something wrong, and they'll be like, oh, I used to love that guy. I'm like, what happened? And then they'll tell me, and it'll be some kind of scandal. Now everybody hates them. And I'll be like, if he was in America, he'd still have a job. That's what I'll be telling. That's what be going through my head. If he was still in America, he'd still have a job. Because there would still be such a large percentage of people that no matter what he did and how he hurt them or she hurt them, they're not going to care. They're just not going to care. D.O.G.E is finding corruption, and D.O.G.E is finding billions and sometimes trillions of dollars that was misspent. I think that individuals don't understand what they're actually trying to explain to you is happening. Your money just isn't being given to these weirdo ass programs, because some of these programs don't actually exist. That's what they're trying to tell you without saying that, because they don't have the 100% bona fide proof and evidence. And if they don't, all these news agencies is going to say, oh, look at the next conspiracy theory, even though everything else they've been saying is a conspiracy theory happens to actually be true. That just always kills me. It kills me every time. So I'm talking to a supporter of Democrats. I'm talking to them. Smart person, just so we could be clear. This is an intelligent individual. So I'm talking to them. And they bring up something. I don't even want to talk about politics. They brought it up to me, just so we could be clear. To my friends, I rarely ever want to bring up politics. Even when we agree on whatever the political viewpoint is, I rarely ever bring up actual politics. We'll be talking about something else. But if you slip it in there and then try to take a jab at me, then we're probably gonna have a conversation. I prefer not to do that, though. With that being said, so I'm talking to my friend, a male, and they bring up, it's two of them I'm talking to. So they bring up tariffs specifically, right? And basically they said tariffs is going to make everything more expensive. It's going to tax on the people. So I bring up inflation also, just so we can be clear. That's a tax on the middle class for everybody that don't know. That's neither here nor there. It's everywhere, but that's not for this conversation in any regard. So I bring up what tariffs actually do. I have an example. I'm holding on to the example because I don't want to use the example. Because when you make me use an example, then sometimes I feel like I'm insulting a person's intelligence. Like I know something you don't know. Like even though I know something you don't know. But you're my friend. I don't want to do that. I use the example for people I don't like right off the rip. Bang! Hit you dead in the head. And then it's like, look at you. But for my friends, I like to talk reasonably and sensibly and say, lay down my perspective. So then when I give my example, it's more of a hug than a punch, right? Is that fair? In any regard. So I'm talking, and they're both my friends, and they're sitting in the driveway. And they bring up tariffs. That's going to make everything more expensive. I said, no, it's not. It's going to do other things. So I brought up a couple of different examples real quick before we got to the actual expense, that the tariffs, the threat of the tariffs is sometimes used to just motivate a government to do a thing. I'm going to give you a real good example. A recent one that happened after the conversation that me and my friend had, but just to show you that I do know what I'm talking about. So the recent one I have is you have Canada and Mexico both said that they're going to hit America with tariffs on the goods that go into their countries if America hits them with tariffs or some shit, right? But I need for you to understand something. America only ships like 5% of the GDP of is only they like 5% of their GDP. That's it for Canada and Mexico. So even if Mexico was to hit America with tariffs, you need our goods. Pardon me, I got that backwards. My apologies. We're like 15 to 20% their GDP a piece together, just so we can be clear. And both of them a piece is about 5% of America's GDP. I apologize. I got that backwards. So basically what that means is about 5% of what America uses comes from Canada, and about 5% of what America uses comes from Mexico. So if they're putting a whole bunch of tariffs on whatever goods that we're sending out to them, it's not a big deal because we're only using about 5% of their goods. We can literally use 0% of their goods in many cases. What the heck are you talking about? I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with Chuck Schumer. I'm pretty sure people aren't going to die if they can't drink Corona or have a damn avocado. Figure it out. Chuck Schumer, boy, these guys, the Democrats are so racist. In any regard, while we're like 20 or 40% of their GDP, some high number. Whereas if we start putting tariffs on the stuff on them, it'll affect their economy. Also, understand this, Canada doesn't really have their own army. They don't have an army. Who protects Canada? So when you hear these conversations, oh man, Canada might become the 51st state. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but it makes more sense than the left who try to make it believe. Listen to the Canadians that's like, yo, we want to be Americans. Listen to them. Anyway, but in any regard. So I explained. So before I get to what I explained. So basically, other countries don't want to get into a tariff war with America. We don't produce all of our stuff, but we produce a lot of our own stuff. Either onshore or offshore. Because we have all of these places that, you know, we got our bases at that we protect. That's the point I think people don't get. So we don't really get but so much stuff from other countries. While America, we're like the biggest buyer of everything in the world. So if you have a product, you want to be able to sell that product in America because we just buy shit. We just waste our money. Just telling you what it is. So I'm having this conversation and we're talking about tariffs. And I'm trying to explain to him that tariffs is a good thing. Do y'all know when taxes actually started? What was it? we looked at it yesterday. It was like 1936. That's when income tax actually started. Before that, there was not an income tax. America made its money off of tariffs. Remember, they couldn't tax anybody. Remember the Tea Party, Boston Tea Party? They couldn't tax Americans. Americans wasn't putting up with that shit. They couldn't tax them. There was a whole damn war about to start over a 2% tax. American Tea Party, look it up. Boston Tea Party, pardon me, look it up. Now, you have Americans arguing that there should be a tax on them rather than a tariff on goods coming from other countries. I need an explanation. So I'm going to explain real quick what the desired effect of a tariff actually is. Do y'all remember when I first started the show? And I always argued that the problem that America has is that we do not have enough manufacturing. I was like, yo, we don't have enough manufacturing jobs. You know, China has all of the manufacturing jobs. Everything is made in China. I talked about that a lot. Why is that important here or something here? Because one, I just want to explain to y'all that I've always been talking about the problems of America. We've always been having political commentary or conversations, even when it seems like we're just talking about something and I'm BSing and I'm joking. So I believe in the 1960s, 1970s, I forget when exactly, there was a situation that was going on with a Japanese car manufacturer. See, one of the things that you have to understand that Trump is always complaining about is there's a lot of nations around the world that don't allow American cars to go into their countries. So while our car manufacturers are making cars here and selling them here, and you can probably get a car in another country, some other countries, in many countries, they don't allow American-made cars. I don't think people understand what Trump is actually fighting for. That's when I hear he's against shit like transgender sports. I'm like, I don't think that that's a big deal. I mean, not in the way that you think it's a big deal. I think they shouldn't be in the sport. I think that there's more important things for us to focus on. I just think that there's more important things for us to focus on. I don't want to get on my show every day and talk about transgenders in a positive or negative light. Whatever they got going on, that's for somebody else to figure out or not figure out. The hell do I know? With that being said, there was a car manufacturer in Japan, and there was a situation going on with trade. Basically, America was not very happy with the fact that our cars weren't allowed over there, but their cars were coming over here. So they hit them with an incredible tariff that made their cars so expensive, or they had to sell it at such a price point when it came over here that Americans wouldn't even choose to buy the car because it wasn't worth up to what that price point was that they were forced to sell it at in order to make any kind of revenue, any income off of the vehicle, and make any money off of the vehicle. And the way that they got around that, because there is only one way around that, and that is to produce the vehicle in the country, because then it's not an import. then it's made in that country. So the car manufacturer from Japan then opened up factories in America, thus creating American jobs. So that's the intended purpose of a tariff. So when I hear people say goods are going to become more expensive because of a tariff, you do understand that these companies know that if they make whatever it is, price point, they can price themselves out of the market. And this is why, first of all, our school systems need to take civics way more seriously and economics way more seriously. I think that these are two particular aspects of our education, or what should be part of our educational system, that aren't enough in any capacity. They teach it in some schools they don't. Just saying. Civics got replaced with social studies. Nobody batted an eye. If people that don't know what civics is basically our rights as American citizens. Social studies is just a history of everything that was going on. Which one you think would be more important to be taught, especially at a young age, to our children? With that being said, so I'm having this conversation about tariffs, and they're busy saying it's going to make everything more expensive. It's going to make this more. Please stop listening to CNN. I cannot stress this enough. Please stop listening to The View. Please stop listening to these people. I heard that they might start taking legal action against these news agencies that continue to spin lies and try to deceive the American populace. Now, with that being said, did you hear Donald Trump? I think it was an NBC reporter. Donald Trump absolutely undressed, not literally, I gotta say this, verbally undressed a NBC, I believe, reporter when he was, trying to give respect to something, and then she just started shouting out questions. He was like, this ain't the time for that. These people have no decorum. I'm going to tell you what is something right now that immediately makes me think, and this is why I keep saying, if you are an individual who is a follower of Christ, these are just behaviors that you cannot condone of. Now, it's one thing for somebody, because I want to make this clear. It's one thing for an individual to have trauma, and that trauma be triggered. So I don't want to make it sound like everything is encompassing, that what I'm saying is encompassing everything. I'm just saying there's certain behavior that we have to look out for and be mindful of. The Democratic elected party tells the people who follow them, because they can't be following Christ, the people that follow them, that whenever somebody tells them information that contradicts the information that they're giving them, to yell, scream, and all of these things, talk over them, bark, howl, make as much noise as possible to drown them out. What kind of civilized people does that? Explain this shit to me. What kind of civilized people do that? What kind of civilized person would encourage an individual to do that? What kind of civility is that? I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just explaining. What part of being an adult is when somebody says something that you don't like, you moo like a cow or bark like a dog? What part of being an adult is that? Now, we all fall short because we all children at heart. But what part of being an adult is that? What part of being sane is that? So when I see that there's people who aren't doing it, but you're standing next to those people that are doing it, I'm like, shout out to, we got Sunday adult Sunday school. And so I'm going to tell you a real quick story about Daniel, real quick. So for everybody that don't know, Daniel wrote Corinthians, right? So in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 11 is when this conversation is, right? Verse 17, I think. I just opened it up and it's already where I want it. Oh, because you listening to me. See, the phones, they just listen to you, fam, in any regard. So I'm going to read what it says. It's the Lord's Supper, right? So I'm going to read what it says right here, a couple of lines, and then I'm going to explain a thing. So it says, now in this that I declare unto you, I praise you not, that ye come together, not for the better, but for the worse. For first of all, when ye come together in the church, I hear that there is division among you, and I partly believe it. For there must be also heresies amongst you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you. When ye come together therefore into this place, this is not to eat the Lord's Supper. For in eating everyone taketh, but before others his own supper. And one is hungry, and another is a drunkard. Verse 22. What ye not houses to eat and drink in, yet despise ye the church of God, and shame them that have not. What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? Shall I praise you not? So I want to say something real quick. What was happening was Daniel had went to what was supposed to be the Lord's Supper, which is basically, you know, eat the body, drink the blood. It was, they come together, we coordinate, you know, commune. Basically what was going on. So what he saw was there was people at the altar, and they were sacrificing at the altar. But they weren't sacrificing to the altar of the Most High. They were sacrificing to all these other demonic gods and spirits and all this other stuff. Just anything that's not God. So that's what they were giving their sacrifice to. So while this is going on, Daniel is basically trying to explain, look, we can't eat this meat. Because we know that God is BS. We know that that's nothing. We know this fake God that you're sacrificing whatever this stuff to. We know that it's nothing. But that person over there, they don't know that it's nothing. And that person over there is trying to come into the word of Christ with us. That person is trying to come into the Most High with us. They're just now getting knowledge of what we do. Just now. They're not as knowledgeable of the word as I am. So if they see me eat that meat that was sacrificed to that nothing, then they're going to believe that that's acceptable, and that's not acceptable. So I say all that to say this. When those Democrats stand with them weirdos that's doing this weirdo stuff, instead of conducting themselves the way that they know that they should be, then are we not to also consider them weirdos? That's all I'm asking. If you want a street or hood breakdown of what I just said, not all money is good money. How's everybody doing this morning? I'm hoping everybody's having a blessed morning, doing blessed things, staying inside of the Lord's word. I hope everybody joins the body of Christ. We have a lot of room. You're welcome. Everybody is welcome inside of the body of Christ. It's concessions you're gonna have to make, apparently. But other than that, other than the concessions you're gonna have to make, remove yourself from some of the secular things of the world, if not all of the secular things of the world. It's gonna be concessions you're gonna have to make. What up, Show Enough? I'm going to send y'all to a commercial break. I want to make a little bit more coffee over here for myself. I'm going to send y'all to a commercial break and probably something else, and we'll be right back.
So if you are a student between the 8th grade and 10th, 11th, you
Everybody knows about Harvard, Yale, Stanford. Today I'm going to give you 6 colleges that I believe are underrated. So the first university I want to talk about is University of Vermont. It is often overlooked because of its location. Who wants to go to Vermont? But the amount of opportunities that it has in internships and research is definitely one of the reasons why it should be looked into instead of overlooked. So the university number 2, New College of Florida. This one provides an individualized plan for those of you who are interested in humanities, and it's another university you should take a look into. So if we take a look at the university number 3, it is not really known outside of Southern United States, unfortunately. However, it has a lot of opportunity with the Odyssey program, and it gives you research trips, opportunities to make a real impact.
I thought I muted my mic. I guess I did. Good thing I don't say weird shit. Well, well, good thing. With that being said, so I want to be clear about something. I don't want there to be any misunderstanding. We love all of our brothers and sisters, no matter how difficult they make it at times. That's our obligation. And for the people that don't get why that's an obligation, it's because the Lord loves us. So that's an obligation. Shout out to the Most High. Glory be to God. Jesus is King. I'm just so grateful. And I'm really grateful to live in the time that I'm living in. Maybe the reason why I go at Democrat the politicians more than someone would, you'd be like, why does he hate these guys is over here? It's not hate. What it is I'm so fortunate. I'm so fortunate that I have a brother, his name is Ty, super smart. I have another brother, his name is Jeff, really smart. Right, Rashi, Tashi, really smart. And I've had so many conversations with them where I was able to learn a lot. And I'm so grateful, just so we could be clear. And in a lot of those conversations, what we actually discussed and talked about were a lot of the corruption that is going on or being exposed right now. We weren't talking about it in the iteration in which it is currently or what we know it to be, but that this corruption actually exists. And that's one of the things that allowed for me personally to get off of the Democratic Party, even though they stayed. Because of my perspective of the information, it contrasted with their perspective, even though we were looking at the same exact thing. Now, just so we could be clear, my brother Ty is one of the most knowledgeable of people of the Bible I know. Lots of our conversations were just about God. Like, so imagine living with a person, for people that don't get it. Imagine living with a person, you in your late teens, early 20s, like this around the time we lived together in on and off, me and my brother, and was around each other a lot. And 60 to 70% of our conversations is about God in the Bible. So I do have to thank him for that, and I'm so grateful to have had somebody to talk about the Bible with. Especially somebody that read the Bible as often as he did. He was as fluent in it. I'm very, very grateful. Just want to say that. God put a lot of things there for me. You think you're into your gift until, sometimes we think we have a gift for a thing, right? But that's not really what your gift is. Your gift is something else, right? But remember, Satan always wants you to use your gift for one thing, while the Most High wants you to use your gift for his purpose. So keep that in mind. Satan always wants us to use our gift for something other than what God wants us to use our gift for. Keep that in mind. Just in life. When you see somebody struggling with something, they probably struggling for a better reason than you think that they are. Satan doesn't chase people of low value. Bank robbers don't rob laundromats. Wow, that's a good place to rob. Bank robbers don't rob corner stores. Right? They rob banks and maybe laundromats. For everybody that don't know, laundromats be having a lot of, don't rob laundromats. I'm going to be quiet. Not laundromats anymore, I guess, because everything is automated. But back in the day, sheesh, you get yourself, first of all, if you can get yourself a laundromat in the hood, you're probably going to get cake. You're probably going to get killed on the loan, whatever loan you had to take out or whatever the case is. But if you was able to go buy it without a loan for whatever the reason is, I don't know where you got the money from. You're going to make a grip. Like, you don't understand the money that go through damn laundromats. I used to work in one, by the way. Actually, I worked at a budget truck rental, but the person who owned the budget truck rental ran it out of the laundromat that he owned. So I've had a lot of jobs. He also owned the recycling center down the block. So I've had a lot of jobs, even all at once. Sheesh. Imagine having to do recycling center work, every now and then. And you showing up to work every day with a shirt and tie. Because that's just how you dress at this point in your life. I'm going to get back to that. I love working my shirt and ties. I'm kind of upset I don't wear a shirt and tie every day anymore. That's something that bothers me. Should have put a little bit more coffee. I could use some more cream. Be right back. I need some more cream.
My mama always told me I could be whatever I wanted. So I became a problem.
Sorry about that. I needed some more cream for my coffee. Neon Dion to Colorado 21 to salute frauds. The Democrats been losing it lately. They've been losing all of it. They have to. They don't have no choice, just so we can be clear. They have, and this is the point that I'm actually trying to make. They have historically lied to the American people. The lies are being uncovered. I'll give you a good example. Think about how consistently they're always, like, every time they're trying to get elected, they say that the Republican Party is trying to get rid of Social Security. They're trying to hurt Medicaid. They're trying to hurt Medicare. Why are we now finding out that the Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security money isn't even going to the American citizens? They're going overseas somewhere. So you trying to tell me that the Republicans was trying to stop that? And every time they tried to stop that, y'all told the American people that they're trying to cut off the American people's Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare? Because that sounds like what was going on. So now I have to look Now I have to look back at historically how often I sided with the Democrats. And I have to say, you know what? I believed a lot of that BS. So who am I to be angry at the Democrats who are now? I think it's Romans 2. No, verse 1. Romans 2, verse 1. Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgeth. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemneth thyself. For thou that judgest dost the same thing. So basically, Romans 2 is basically saying, who am I? I'm saying, even though I am currently not doing the thing that they are doing. There was a point when I was also misled to believe things that were not true. So who am I to judge them? Because this is an exact point that I was misled on. So there has to be a certain amount of grace that you give to someone. Just so we could be clear. So when I keep saying I don't really have anything against the Democrats in general that are voting. There's some of y'all is insufferable. Don't get it confused. But the Democrats in general that might believe some of these things, I know that it's a deep hypnosis. I get it. I was there. Let's talk about school systems for a second. No one else finds it extremely peculiar that all of those senators, all of those representatives of the Democratic Party showed up to the Board of Ed building. Nobody else finds this peculiar. Because I find it extremely peculiar. I find it queer, pun intended. What's another thing that I told you I was going to need to be destroyed? I said Trump is going to completely eradicate it. I said the schools. Didn't I say that? You do understand. Okay, so let's have a conversation about something else that happened real quick so you can see my perspective, even if you don't agree with it. Did y'all recently see, I forgot that lady's name, the bald-headed lady. She's a representative or a senator or something. I think she's a senator. I don't know her name. She's bald-headed. She's black. Did you see what she says? That they're serious in working together with people who are serious. No, they're willing to work together with people who are serious about censoring the American people. I don't know who's seen that. I don't know if I have it on my phone. Let me just take a quick look. I would love to show that to you. She said that she's serious. I don't have it. She says she's willing to work with, or they are willing to work with, people who are serious about censoring the American people. Maybe a senator, right? Maybe a senator. They wanna. I don't know why I do that. I have no reason why I do that, sensitive American people. Oh man, I do that all the time. I don't think my phone writes want to, by the way. That's how often I do that stupid shit. Anyway, here we go. So I don't want to play the whole clip. Obviously, YouTube. We don't want to play the whole clip. Video somewhere other than YouTube. Clip 19 seconds. This is gonna be done fast.
Look, let me tell you something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people.
Boom. Okay, so pardon me, shout out to Breitbart. I don't know who these guys are, but they get in trouble a lot for bad media, so I don't know what this is going on. In any regard, this is what she actually said. Y'all know how I have this ongoing theme where I keep trying to tell y'all, I think that they're trying to make the American black woman look bad globally. I think that this is on purpose. I think that they want to make our black American women look bad. I think that this is by design.
Look, let me tell you something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people.
Okay, so we're clear on that point. We're clear on that point. The Democrats, they want to censor the American people. Could we just say something real quick? I'm going to say something about Nazi Germany. You know, Nazi Germany had one party. You know, Nazi Germany is where propaganda was first used on a national scale to trick the population into going on whatever direction. You know that after World War II, the German people who put together the media for the propaganda, the people who was ahead of it, you know that they got hired by different nations to work for them and help them create their own propaganda. You know that's what America used, the idea and the philosophy around what America has also been using against their own people in order to keep us in confusion. But that's a conversation for a whole nother day. Because that's not what we're talking about now. What we are talking about is the Democrats. And how they want to silence the voices. So why do you think they're at raids? Why do you think they're going to rallies or wherever somebody is at that's saying something the opposite of them? And what are they doing? They're shouting and yelling them down. Why? Because they're trying to censor them. While at the same time saying that Republicans and Donald Trump are attacking democracy. They changed that to constitutional crisis, by the way, because people got smart enough to realize that we don't want to live in a democracy. We want to live in a constitutional republic. So now they call it constitutional crisis. While they're also saying that when Trump was actually in trouble and there was a, when Trump was president and there was a judge that passed the thing that went in Trump's favor. No, it wasn't even when Trump was president, but a judge passed something that was in Trump's favor. Do you remember when the Democrats, I gotta go find out, remember what it is. I can't remember it offhand. Do you remember how the Democrats said that the judge, nobody should pay attention to the judge? I think AOC literally had an interview where she said this. So they're all about censorship. Remember, when we be outside doing our show, what happens? Homeless people come up, yell and scream in my background. I'm not the one to become enemies with. I promise you, whatever the thing is that you're trying to make me do, I promise you I'm not going to do it. I don't care what it is. We're enemies. People be like, yo, I'm going to treat him worse. He going to do the thing I want him to do, and then I still don't do it. Then they say, he crazy. Watch when the next elections come in 2 years. The Democrats is actually so scared for that. They're not going to change their pattern of what they're doing right now. But they're scared about that. What's going to happen to the Democratic Party when America actually becomes a better place to live in under Trump's leadership? Remember, they're against every single thing that Trump says he wants to do. So that means that at the end of Trump's leadership, right? At the end of Trump's leadership, if they get elected, they're going to undo everything that Trump is doing. So we can't even vote. If we like the direction the country is going in, that means that we can't vote a Democrat into office. D. Johnson says, Americans have a right to be upset. I'm not sure where I said a person didn't have a right to be upset. But okay. If that's what you believe I said, I didn't say that. This is me saying I didn't say that. If you still want to just say that I said that, I have no control over that. I would like for the Americans that are upset to let me know who they are. So I'm not against Americans being upset. I absolutely want to know which one of you guys are upset. I think y'all should let everyone know. I think y'all should wear an anti-Trump hat everywhere you go, so I can recognize you. This is not sarcasm. It's just so we can be clear. Maybe we do an anti-Trump hats and try to sell them. No, fuck it. Sell them real cheap, just for like whatever we can make it for, and like $1. Or we just put it on one of these social media things where people can just order it offline. No, make the money. That's great. More importantly, everybody can know who you guys are. We don't have to be surprised. You know, not all of y'all got blue hair or bald. Not all of y'all are women with blue hair or bald. You know? I would like to know who y'all are. Be upset. What the hell? Shout out to D. Johnson. It was a running back for the Dallas. Dwight Johnson was his name, right? Dallas Cowboys. He was a fullback. He was pretty good. I think he was there when Emmitt Smith was there. In any regard, yeah, be angry. What the hell do I care if you're upset? I don't understand. I mean, I don't want you to be upset about anything. You know, not necessarily this, but, you know, I hope God brings some type of peace to your heart. Just so we can be clear. What vampires are you talking about, Personal One? Yeah, just so we can be clear, I hope God puts some peace to your heart so you can stop being upset about America becoming a better place. Literally. You're so angry that they finding all of that wasted money, ain't you? What else you angry about? You're so angry that there's not going to be tax on tips anymore, right? That really pissed you off. Oh, man, I know what you got to be angry about. That the fact that they're going to be ordered in the IRS, quite possibly taking the IRS out of existence and then making it so we might not have to pay income tax anymore. That must really piss you off. What else pisses you off, D. Johnson? Yeah, Personal One says supposedly there's people on Social Security. No, not people on Social Security number, but on Social Security, SS would have been perfect. That are really, really old. Yeah. So apparently, that's a thing. So these are all things that D. Johnson is mad. D. Johnson is pissed off that there was corruption that got found out about. Not that there was corruption, but we found out about it. Oh boy, D. Johnson is like, this is getting me right ornery over here. D. Johnson is also upset, just so we could be clear, that there won't be any more child mutilation money being sent out to all of these other countries. He's pissed off about that. He's like, we need more of that child mutilation money sent out across the world. What else you pissed off about, D. Johnson? I'm curious. D. Johnson is really pissed off that no more illegal aliens that could come into this country and then could hurt our American citizens are being allowed into our borders. He's really pissed off about that. What else you pissed off about, D. Johnson? I'm curious. I'm just naming things that Trump's doing. That's it. That's it. I'm just naming things he's doing. Oh, you must really, really, really be angry that Trump is now going to allow for God to be brought back into our school systems. That must really piss you off. You know, you needed to keep them chillins and God separated, right? Didn't you? I think that's a good thing. What else you angry about, D. Johnson? You're so pissed off those Democratic politicians can't continue to get rich by stealing taxpayers' money through money laundering. That must really make you angry. You like, oh man, I wanted them to get more richer. I love when them guys get richer, richer, richer. That must really piss you off. What else you angry about? I'm just naming things Trump's doing. You must be really angry about all of those relief workers immediately being sent to, what was it, North Carolina, as soon as Trump was inaugurated. That must really piss you off. How the heck is he out here trying to save the American peoples? Why is Trump doing that? He was supposed to do what Biden did and left those people out there in the street. He put them up in hotels and then got their homes and everything worked on as quickly as possible. What kind of president is this guy? That is not the way that you lead, right, D. Johnson? You don't like the leaders that do those things. I'm just naming things Trump doing. I got a question. Did anybody kneel during the Super Bowl when the national anthem was sang, and Trump was there? Did anyone kneel? Trump won with 77 million votes. Landslide. He pulled 6 or 7 of the the states that could go either way. He turned a couple of states red. For all of you Democrats that are still out there saying Trump is doing this, Trump is doing that, and complaining, this is literally what people voted for. Literally. And not just people, but the majority of people. Personal one says, I heard Elon Musk trying to go to Fort Knox. We talked about this last night. So there was a dude, Rand Paul. I think it was Rand Paul. So Senator Rand Paul. So Senator Rand Paul somebody made a joke on Twitter that said, not that the Democrats is out of office, somebody go check Fort Knox. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Real quick commercial break. Sorry about that bathroom break. With that being said, I just want to say this. So, somebody ever start this back over. A personal one says, I heard Elon Musk trying to go to Fort Knox. So, basically what happened was somebody had made a joke on Twitter. And they basically was like, yo, y'all should go check Fort Knox. The joke being the Democrats were in office. Now they're not in office. They might have stole something. I hate when the light comes through this window like that. You just mess up my whole aesthetic. It's like we had like a feng shui thing going on over here. So you're messing up my feng shui. So, even though that's been there the whole show, it's been pissing me off the whole show. With that being said, so Elon Musk replies back. I'm pretty sure, they check that every year. That shouldn't be an issue. So then Rand Paul says, no, they don't. Let's do it. Shout out to Senator Rand Paul. So there's been a theory or a conspiracy theory for many a years that the Fort Knox been empty. They've been empty and stole the money out of Fort Knox. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. I'm not just whatever. Red Paul was like, nah, fam. We need to count the bricks. They're gonna go in there with something. They're gonna go in there with a person that's gonna be like strung out on. I was gonna make a joke that would be super funny. Like the joke would be so funny, but I promise you, they're gonna say it's anti-Semitic. The joke is funnier than it's insulting, though. I'm not gonna say it though. In any joke, in any regard. In any regard. So for everybody that don't know, I got a metric. And my metric is I'll say a joke as long as it's funnier than it's insulting. But I said a joke the other day that I think I missed the mark to a friend of mine. And so I'm not going to tell this joke because I might be a little bit off on what's more funnier than insulting. Shit, I've been on mute that whole time. Oh, man, I said a whole bunch of good stuff. Sorry about that. I said a whole bunch of good stuff. I have no idea how I've been on mute. Hope nobody's in my computer. I have no idea how I got on mute. Let me see something. I think I just got on mute. Nah, I just got on mute. Something clicked. What up, Ruby Reed? Salute. Something clicked over here on my screen, and then I think it went on mute after that. How long was I on mute? Because you just told me, so I must have been on mute for a short period of time. Yeah, something clicked over here, like a setting went off. And then that's when I think it clicked my mic off. The setting just went off. In any regard. What the heck was I talking about? I lost my place. What was we discussing? Oh, yeah, so we're not on the gold standard anymore. We got changed over to the petrodollar. We got changed over to the petrodollar. And then I'm not sure what we're on right now, but there's a thing going on with crypto. So don't be surprised if there's another change in the future. But I don't even know what our money is braced up against. So whatever. I don't even know what at this point. I think it's against us, is the human people, the humans of America. That's what I think it is, to be honest with you, at this point. That's why I think the census is so important. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. This is why I go off. I'm trying not to do the thing that I do so often previously, that I previously have done so often. And that is when I speak and then I go off on a whole entire tangent that has zero to do with what we're talking about. And that's why I keep saying that's a conversation for another day. In the past, I have decided, or not thinking, and I go off and I have those conversations, right? Appreciate you, Rudy Reed. Salute. Very happy to be producing a show at all. And to hear that is good is I'm over here, I'm doing cartwheels. All of the cartwheels. So, yeah, appreciate you. Used to be green team. I have to earn back your patronage, right? So, I get it. It's all good. Tonight's show is back, by the way. We had a Tonight Show last night for everybody that didn't hear. There's still a couple of things once again, but we're rolling and we doing what we do. And I'm very happy to have you here this morning. With that being said. Oh, what's my Cash App? I'm going to put it in the chat right now. What are you talking about? We're doing things. So, just so we could be clear, I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. The way our economy was working, we were not gonna be able to sustain another 4 years of how we were hemorrhaging money. If we didn't get D.O.G.E going right now, think about all of the things that Biden and his administration was putting into place right before Trump came into office and got inaugurated. Trump needs to roll back all of those things. And one of the main reasons is because all of those things that many of those things that he signed created funding. So we're trying to stop all of the unnecessary funding. So that's what D.O.G.E is doing. And yes, I believe that the Republicans will stay in power. Because why won't they? And yes, I believe that the Republicans is going to stay in power. Because why won't they? What is going to happen when the American people see that all of the things that Trump is doing is working in our benefit? What happens when the American people see that now there's more money in their wallet? Their money is going further. Their lives are just happier. And then what is the Democrats going to campaign on? The Democrats are only going to be able to campaign. What were they going to be able to campaign on? Are they going to be campaigning on they're going to make a change? Change from what? If we like what's going on, why would we want to make a change? So what are they going to campaign on? Show Enough says the Democrats dropped the ball with the immigration crisis. With the immigrant crisis, the illegal crisis. Call it the illegals crisis. Because once again, and this, I said this in the beginning, when they first started letting in all of these people. I said, you know who this sucks for? The people that are going through immigration the appropriate way. It sucks for them. Because you got individuals who had to be separated from their family 2, 3, 4 years doing it the right way. And now we're just going to allow people to come in, and not just come in, but we're not vetting them at all. And we're giving them all of this money. So they don't even have to work or anything. We're funding their lives. They're immigrants. They're illegals on top of that. We got our own homeless. We got our own vets. Why are we not taking care of them? These people are illegals. Just so we could be clear. Oh, they made it look different now. Shout out to Ruby Reed with the dub drop. Straight to the cashier. Rudy Reed said, man, he's having a spectacular show this morning. I want to thank him for all his spectacularnesses. Let me show up into the cashier. I would have just been happy if you became a member again. I would have been like, oh, another members. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Ruby, as always. With that, I've been drinking a lot of coffee this morning. We'll be right back after the commercial break. I'm going to try not to drink anymore.
Everybody knows about Harvard, Yale, Stanford. Today I'm going to give you 6 colleges that I believe are underrated. So the first university I want to talk about is University of Vermont. It is often overlooked because of its location. Who wants to go to Vermont? But the amount of opportunities that it has in internships and research is definitely one of the reasons why it should be looked into instead of overlooked. So the university number 2, New College of Florida. This one provides an individualized plan for those of you who are interested in humanities, and it's another university you should take a look into. So if we take a look at the university number 3, it is not really known outside of southern United States, unfortunately. However, it has a lot of opportunity with the Odyssey program, and it gives you research trips, opportunities to make a real impact.
I wasn't looking at that black screen for too long. I gotta hit it. I'm gonna work that out. I gotta make some new stuff. I hope they was getting money for vehicles and houses. Yes, they was getting money for anything that they needed. You understand? Everything that they needed. What I find interesting is now I'm hearing that many cities' streets have become vacant. I'm hearing that like many like down like places like Canal, it's not that many people out there no more. I'm gonna explain why this is happening. Because we already had a shitload of illegals in the country. A crap load. So now they're scared. They were here before all of them dudes came across the border. So now they scared. So that's why the streets is empty a lot of places. Because they've been here before. They probably been here 15 years. And remember, if they come here and be illegal over a certain amount of time and do certain things, like the country will just be like, he stayed. But now that's a dub. All because of the Democrats. And I just want to be clear about something because I keep hearing about this anchor baby shit, right? The anchor baby situation was created for the slaves, specifically, in order to make sure that their children had citizenship in America. Just so we could be clear. It was specifically made for slaves. People, they always talking about something they don't even be knowing. That's why I just be listening sometime, and it be a lot of times I'm gonna say something. I really gotta work on this. But a lot of times people are telling me stuff, and I know they don't know what they're talking about. I used to be really good at this. I'm not so good at it no more, so I have to reacquire those skills. I used to be so patient and just let them say everything. Just be like, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong also. Ooh, that is the wrongest of the wrongs. And then just wait until the end and just say boop, 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 boop. I got to start being more patient than that. But I'm going to be clear on something. It is mind-boggling how often people know nothing about what they're talking about. Nothing. It's mind-boggling. And you just gotta sit there and listen sometimes. And just be like, they be talking, and you be like, God dang it. Should I correct them? Because if I correct them, they're gonna think I think that they're an idiot. They just wrong about this. They're not wrong about everything. But if I don't correct them, how could I say that I'm their friend? Because they're gonna go tell this same bullshit to somebody else. So I gotta correct them. So that's how I be thinking. I'm just so we can be clear. Just so we could be clear. I'm like, should I correct them? And be like, nah. But one thing I do enjoy hearing different perspectives. So sometimes, more times than not, I do enjoy hearing different perspectives. Because what's happening is they're being told something that is not true. Right? And so they're processing it and they're trying to make it work for them. So often you could tell how a person's brain works, how they process a lie. So I do enjoy hearing their perspectives, and especially when it's a friend of mine, because 9 times out of 10, if you're a friend of mine, damn near 10 times out of 10, there's something about you that I admire. 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, there's something about you that I admire. So, I enjoy hearing the perspective of my friends, even if they're saying something and I'm like, what in the hell? I'm so pissed off at whoever told you that lie and got you to believe it. I'm so angry at them. Oh man, they deserve all of the knuckle sandwiches. What time we got? What time we started the show this morning? We hour and 41 minutes in. Only at 10 o'clock. Is there something else you guys want to discuss? Is there something you want to ask me? Is there an avenue of conversation that you would like to go down? Put it in the chat. We're doing all of the talkings this morning. All of the talkings. Also, I need a team for Marvel Rivals. If you are a Marvel Rival player, please hit me. I'm halfway decent. That's the funny thing about me. When I'm actually good at something, like I don't like to really talk about it. Unless I like you. Then I like talking about it. Because I want to motivate you. Especially like somebody I like, I want to motivate you. We gonna both get good at this thing. I'm already good at it, but I could get better. How do you feel about 50 and Meech? So for everybody that don't know, Meech, let me know if what I'm saying is right or wrong right now. I'm about to tell you what I know about it, and then I'm going to tell you my perspective. Is that good, DJ? I'm going to call you Show Enough. Is that good, Show Enough? I always call you Show Enough. So, my perspective, right? So, apparently, Rick Ross' fat ass has decided that he was going to try to do some kind of BMF project with Meech. Correct? The issue with that is that right now, currently, 50 Cent owns the rights. Correct? Meech has recently come out in opposition of 50 Cent. Correct? And many people believe that 50 Cent, that Meech is being ungrateful. Correct? And the reason why they believe that Meech is being ungrateful is because of all of the things that 50 Cent did for Meech's son. Correct? Am I right on any of these points so far before I say my perspective? If I'm wrong on any of these points, let me know. Then I'll tell you my perspective. I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. Just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. Then I'll give you my perspective. More than happy. There's like a tape delay. So I'm expecting for him at some point to be like, yes, that is what I'm talking about, or no, you got it all wrong. So I'm thinking he's typing at the moment. But I believe that's how the situation. Okay, he says, sounds about accurate. I think that Meech is being ungrateful. So for everybody that don't know what actually happened was, I don't know if 50 Cent got the rights before or after. But what he did was he contacted Meech's son. He put him through training to become not just the role that he's playing, but an actual actor. He put him in school, flew him out to California, put him in school, and then after, just so we could be clear, he got him trained to be a professional actor. He then started a project that is centered around him. So he has his own vehicle. And if you don't understand how important that is in the world of entertainment, to have your own vehicle, that basically means that somebody has a project that they have designed around you in one way or another. It's your vehicle. Everybody else is in the car with you. I don't want to hear, but 50 Cent is benefiting. Why should he not? I'm tired of hearing somebody say, but you benefited, so you didn't do it from your heart. What are you talking about? So the only way you believe that somebody did anything from their heart is if they got nothing out of it? That's not the way blessings work. God doesn't work like that. They've got, at least I don't believe God works like that. They have people under some kind of weird spell believing that the only time you can believe someone's deed was done from the heart is if they get zero things out of it. I'm saying somebody can do something from the heart and get nothing out of it, and somebody could also do something from the heart and get something out of it. Because he could have did that same exact project with a different person about a different person's life with a different person's son. He chose Meech's son, Meech's life, and Meech's story. He already created power. He could have just created a thing out of nothing. Get the ungrateful language out of your diction. That's ungrateful language. Oh, he's going to benefit from it. He ain't do it from his heart. He produces movies and television. Why would he produce any movie or television or anything at all which he would not benefit from? Guess what he has? He has stockholders. What is he going to do? He's going to go into one of his stockholder meetings or meetings with people who are investors and say, well, now we just did that one. We're not going to get no money from it. I just wasted all of that money, the millions of dollars that y'all gave me to produce stuff. I just decided to give it away for free because, you know, from the heart. Explain to me how any of this makes any sense. So that's what I mean. They always say, oh, you did, but why? Wait, just look at what was done. His son benefited. His son has an acting career now. He helped his son move into a genre of work, a career that if he does it correctly, his family can have generational wealth. I don't think Meech could have been grateful enough. But to be ungrateful is insane. Now that's all I got to say about that. I wish the best for everybody involved. Everyone involved. Wish the best. Other than that, don't know what to tell you. All this shit is bananas. Bananas with a capital gorilla. I don't know what to tell you. What does D.O.G.E mean? Oh, you put laugh out loud. Nope, the D ain't even on that side of the keyboard. Do I think A$AP Rocky should have taken a plea deal? I haven't been covering that case. I'm not sure what the plea deal was. But being as the individual who he's accused of pulling a gun on has testified and said that's the guy, I don't see how he's going to beat this in any way, shape, or form. Might be convicted on the lesser charge, whatever that might be, but I don't see how he can beat this in any way, shape, or form. So the reason why he probably decided to take it to trial is because they probably didn't give him a favorable plea deal, one that he thought was acceptable. That's why I keep trying to tell you, especially if you're a public figure, stop arguing with these fools. Once you become a public figure, no street fighting, no shooting out with people, no none of that. You're a public figure. You don't want no problems with nobody. If somebody brings problems to you, you go get the police, fam. The dude that he pulled that gun on don't even have anything to lose. The dude he pulled the gun on don't even have anything to lose. A$AP Rocky got a whole career. He a public figure. You a public figure. Once somebody start taking it to where it gotta go, get the police involved. You're a whole public figure. I don't care how small of a public figure you are or how large of a public figure you are. You are a public figure. Period. Why do you think they want people who are public figures to feel like everybody's coming after them? You know how hard it is to be kind to people when you're constantly around people that are trying to do bullshit? You know how hard it is to be kind to people? So just get the police involved as quickly as possible. Because once they can prosecute one of them, everything is going to go. Everything is going to go. Everything is going to get exposed. Once one of them have to go to court, everything is going to get exposed. So should he have taken the deal? If he was guilty, he should have took the deal. Seems like he's guilty. So now you got to ask, what was the deal? But no. These rappers stay in some shit. Isn't the rich in his right for building? Fam. I'm not sure if this happened before or after. Be right back. I'm taking a quick commercial break. Rappers stay in crap because they have to live in that macho bravado world of once somebody start talking crazy to you, then you got to respond. Let me tell you about a situation that happened. I'm not going to tell you about the whole entire situation, but I'm going to tell you how they try to set you up to get you into an argument. So I posted something on Instagram the other day, and so it was something that was positive. So the person came into the conversation, the link or whatever, and they just started they was arguing for illegals for whatever the reason was, and they was like trying to argue for illegals and against DEI. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. It was actually crazy. So I'll say a thing, and then they're trying to go back and forth arguing with me, but I'm not really trying to argue with them. I'm taking it as it's just internet shit. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm just going, this is why I don't go back and forth with people. For anybody that wonders why I just don't want to do it. So then some chick comments on the jump off and basically backs up my point and brings even more data. So the individual just couldn't take it once that happened. And then now all of a sudden, now the person wants to fight me. That's insane. So I don't want to fight no one, especially over nothing. But whatever, nigga, we not doing this. Look, bang, I say whatever I say. So then the individual, after I agree to go fight them, which I really don't want to do, but I agree to it. We even set up a location. He then says that he's going to get people after me. So, okay. That just, now we doing too much. So, but this is how I'm trying to say, this is how they do it. They pretend like you're doing something to them. They come start trouble with you, and then pretend like whatever reaction you give, you're yelling and screaming. You're not even yelling and screaming. You're not even angry. You're not even thinking nothing or nothing. Then they automatically make themselves the victim. And now, all of a sudden, they're fighting for justice. You understand? So when you're a public figure, you can't deal with that type of shit. You just got to alert the police. Because imagine having to deal with that every single fucking day. It's a new individual trying to do this shit. It's not a new individual. It's the same organization of people. It's not a new individual. So 9 times out of 10, homeboy that took the stand, and I wouldn't be surprised at this, was part of some people that was in his clique that was talking behind his back. And he decided to handle it street instead of handling it the way he should have handled it. Got dude up out of there, kept him away from him. That's it. So now he's paying the dues for handling it the wrong way. Yes, he should have took the damn deal, but I don't know what the deal was. Maybe the deal was not that many less months or years than it would have been if he gets convicted on the highest charge. So then why take the deal? You might as well fight it, right? Show Enough says these rappers stay in some shit. Show Enough said rappers cry about getting out the hood, and when they make it out the hood, they still get into some shit. Well, yeah, because you got to change your patterns and behaviors. And then also remember, they get out the hood, but they have to stay a certain level close to it in order to be able to operate inside of hip hop. It's hard to operate inside of hip hop if you don't have some hood niggas with you. So let's just be fair and acknowledge that. No, we're not talking about a country music singer. I'm assuming if you was rock and roll, drugs, hard drugs, the hardest of the hard drugs are part of stuff that y'all probably have going on, or there's a chance of it. If you're a rapper, there's a chance that you have to have the element of the street around you in order, first of all, in order to be serious, be taken serious. Everybody remember Young MC? So for everybody that don't know, Young MC was nice. Young MC was nice. But he was also nice. So people didn't take him seriously. He had one hit, which was a banger. But people didn't really take him seriously. But he was nice. Dion says, plead guilty to one of the 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Los Angeles County prosecutors would also recommend a 7-year suspended sentence, 3 years of probation, spend 3 months in jail. Yeah, nah, you gotta take that deal. Only 3 months in jail? That's it? You know how sometimes somebody be like, that's it? That's all the time they had to do? And you be looking like, nigga, you can't do that amount of time. Fam, 3 months? He couldn't do 3 months? So they was going to let him plead. I don't know if any of this is true. I'm just going off of what dude is saying. So if what Neon Dion is saying is correct, if it is correct, and it was going to allow him to plead out to one, right? One of the felony counts, and I guess just throw the other one away, whatever the case was. And it was going to give him a 7-year suspended sentence, 3 years probation, and he was only going to spend 3 months in jail, then they didn't even want to take him to trial. They don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. They don't even want to be prosecuting this bullshit. That's probably why I took it to trial. What up, Brandon? Salute. Yeah, man, we've been live a minute doing our things over here. We've been live for the last 2 hours. Shit, I don't know how much longer we're going to be live. I didn't have breakfast yet. Had some coffees, though. Yeah, nah, that's crazy. He couldn't do 3 months. Like, is he expecting something to happen to him if he go to jail? Because I'm not going to lie to y'all. I think every time these rappers go to jail. So is he trying to avoid jail because he think that they... Cause there's something I want to say, but I'm not going to say it. Do you remember before all the time? I used to always tell y'all, there's stuff that I want to say, but I'm not going to say it. Right? And then I wait for the thing to happen. And that was happening all the time. You'll be surprised at what's going on behind closed doors. And I'm going to leave it at that. I can't imagine not just wanting to get 3 months over with. It's 3 months. No, I don't think that they have witnesses. The person who he actually did it to took the stand also. So I guess the argument could be that he didn't think the guy was going to take the stand and also didn't think that there were going to be any witnesses. So he didn't think that they were going to be able to prove him to be guilty. I guess that's your argument. Reasonable, I guess. But he took the stand. So therefore, there's a witness. Him. Anything else y'all guys want to talk about? We're 2 hours in. There will be a Tonight Show tonight. We will be having a Tonight Show tonight. Tonight Show is back at least Monday through Thursday. There's a reason for that. Tonight Show is back Monday through Thursday, some Fridays. I won't know until the actual Friday when right before Morning Coffee. Morning Coffee Monday through Friday, a Tonight Show Monday through Thursday. I'm not going to know about Friday except for on the Fridays because it's a in the moment type of situation. Faces up to 24 years if convicted. Up to 24 years. They're probably not going to give him 24 years though. But that's crazy to risk that. I would have just took the 3 months. I'm just being honest with you. Niggas were like 3 months. Niggas scared. It is what it is. People are scared of a lot of things. You know? He was scared. Sometimes people don't realize how short 3 months actually is. It's going to feel longer, but it's only 3 months. You know. It depends on how it's going to feel. Like, it depends, I guess, what kind of, whatever. If they send him to a jail or a prison, he could have argued to be sent to a jail. instead of a prison. But I don't even know if that's better. You understand what I'm saying? So, I don't know. We see what happens. With that being said, he might be found innocent. What the hell do I know? With that being said, I'm about to let y'all go, everybody. Look, man. Please go out there. Have a productive day. Let's go out there. Try to do something. At least one deed today. And then magnify the Lord's name. Let's do one deed that's good for someone else other than ourselves. And then we're going to magnify the Lord's name. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Ballmans. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you, and that's all I got on this one. I'm out.
Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.